back in the day, I'm going to set this up, set the stage for you. Back in the day, we were borderline homeless. We were staying in a motel. It was a very small motel. It was like a 12 by 12 room. It had one bathroom. There were 2 beds, and then there was a TV in there. And in that room, that motel room that we lived in, there was me and 7 of my brothers and sisters. And then there were 2 adults, my mom and my stepdad. And this is all just to set the stage for you, right? So there's a lot of us in this very cramped motel room. And that, you know what, I'll show a picture of that here. I point here as if this is going to be a thing, but it's the whole screen. In order to play games and stuff like that, because we did have a PlayStation at the time, in order to play games, you'd have to wake up really early before everyone else. So, but this story takes place in Street Fighter Alpha 3. So Street Fighter Alpha 3 was a game that I learned to love a lot as a kid because I loved Street Fighter 2, and so I played Street Fighter 3. But in order to play it, like I said, you had to wake up early before everyone else. And you had to have the TV completely quiet because there could be no sound to wake up the other 7 kids. And although I was the oldest, so I had to be the most responsible one. So you don't want to wake up 7 other kids or the 2 adults who were sleeping in the bed next to us. And now you have like a couple kids up on the bed, you have kids on the floor beside you, and you're trying to be as quiet as possible. And so you'd be playing games. So I busted my ass to get to the end of, I think it was arcade mode. It definitely wasn't World Tour mode. I think it was just the arcade mode. And I was doing on, I think it's 8-star, 9-star difficulty, whatever the hardest one was. I think it was 9-star. Anyways, so we get to the end of that game, right? And that's where you fight the last boss, M. Bison. And as a little kid, I'm playing my heart out, and I'm playing Ryu at the time because with Ryu, that's like one of the first things you learn. Like you learn how to throw the Hadouken and like Shoryuken and all the special moves and stuff like that. That was like the beginner character stuff that I learned. So I was using Ryu, and for about 40 minutes, I kept retrying at M. Bison. I couldn't do it. And it made me want to cry. I was just a little kid. I was like stifling my tears. I was like, I don't wake anybody else up because it's like 6 in the morning. And I'm just like holding back tears. I'm so upset and I can't beat him. Here's a clip of nonsense really quick. Like this is the shit we're dealing with here.
Go for it, man!
And I was just distraught. And finally everyone else starts waking up. And I don't want to see other people see me failing that bad. Like I don't want them to see their older brother being that bad. So I just shut the fucking game off. I was just like, oh yeah, it's just done playing. And never went back to it. I played, World Tour mode and stuff like that in Alpha 3, but I never ever went back to M. Bison there. Except for years later, years down the line, I played an emulator of Alpha 3, but I was playing on the Sega Saturn. Now the difference between the Sega Saturn and the PS1 and I think the Dreamcast release of the games, the PS1 and Dreamcast release of the games, you could fight M. Bison as much as you wanted to. In the Sega Saturn and arcade ports, if you lost to M. Bison, you died. You were done. It was game over. You didn't get a chance to restart. They just ended you. And then they gave you a bad ending. Like legitimately an ending was there for in case M. Bison beats your ass, and he will, that you have to sit and watch where that statue that is on his stage in Thailand comes to life. And so that's terrifying. That's a whole separate set of like 90s weird horror. And so that happened. I get to him on the Sega Saturn version without knowing this. I didn't know that you couldn't continue. I lose the fight, and I get the bad ending, and that was it. I've never seen the hardest difficult. Like I've never beaten M. Bison on the hardest difficulty. I've never accomplished it, but I tried. And once I saw the bad ending, I was like, good enough for me. I'm fine with doing it. On 4-star and everything else. I've never done 9-star. I have beaten it. I've beaten on 5, 6, the normal ones. The hardest has always escaped me. So that's fun story time.